St Petersburg, the former capital of the Russian Empire, one of the most beautiful cities in the world. It owes its unique appearance to the labours of many generations. Still today, the city is full of imperial majesty. A rare integrity and a captivating austere beauty marks its architectural ensembles. Among the true gems in this architectural jewellery box is the Mikhailovsky Palace, one of the peaks of Russian classicism in the early decades of the 19th century. It's not hard to find, even on a first visit to St Petersburg. Looking down one of the side streets from Nevsky Prospect, the city's main thoroughfare, you have a striking view of a building that's imposing without being heavy, fronted by a superb 8-columned portico. Housed here, in the Mikhailovsky Palace, is the world's largest collection of Russian fine art, the State Russian Museum. The palace itself was constructed between 1819 and 1825 on the orders of Alexander I for his youngest brother, Grand Duke Michael Pavlovich. It was created by Carlo Rossi, a brilliant architect, responsible for some of the largest architectural ensembles in the centre of St Petersburg. From the outside, the Mikhailovsky Palace looks much the same now as when it was built. Inside, only 2 rooms still give us a proper idea of the splendour that once existed in the Grand Duke's residence. Both are, however, true masterpieces of classical interior design. The main vestibule is magnificent. The broad grand staircase splits into 2 as it rises to the gallery above. Its architecture has the same sort of rhythmic qualities as great music. A door located in the centre of the gallery leads to the state drawing room of the palace, known as the White Hall. In this unique palatial interior, everything looks just as it did. The finely painted murals, the decorative sculpture, the splendid patterned parquet floor, and even the original furniture produced from Rossi's designs. The White Hall was so highly regarded as an artistic achievement at the time that a model of it was even presented to the King of England. In 1826, Grand Duke Mikhail and his wife, Grand Duchess Elena Pavlovna, moved into their new residence. The first decades of the palace's life were the most brilliant. It often served as a setting for luxurious high society balls. A more refined atmosphere reigned in the Grand Duchess's artistic salon. This was a meeting place for notable people, both residents and visitors to the capital, public figures and politicians, scholars and writers. It was here that the Russian Musical Society was conceived, followed later by the musical classes that developed into Russia's first conservatoire. The soirees devoted to music and the performing arts at the Grand Duchess's home were exceptionally interesting. One of the regulars, the noted composer and pianist Anton Rubinstein, recalled, "Absolutely the finest performers present in St. Petersburg were assembled there. The majestic figure of Emperor Nicholas often appeared amongst the guests. In the second half of the 19th century, the palace went into a decline under the Grand Duke's heirs. On Nicholas II's insistence, the building of the Mikhailovsky Palace, with all the wings, outbuildings and the garden that belonged to it, was purchased from them by the state. On April the 13th, 1895, the last Tsar signed the decree establishing Russia's first state-owned museum of the nation's fine art, to be known in memory of his father as the Russian Museum of Emperor Alexander III. Three years were spent on reconstructing the building and forming the museum stocks. Works came into the new museum from the Academy of Arts, the Hermitage, suburban palaces and private collections. At last, on March the 7th, 1898, the doors of the Mikhailovsky Palace opened to the first visitors. Nicholas II attended the opening ceremony. Old photographs have preserved for posterity the atmosphere of that notable day. And so, for 100 years now, visitors in their thousands have been climbing the grand staircase of the palace to enter a special, timeless world, a world that encompasses the 1,000-year history of the fine arts in Russia. We shall follow them, but without hurrying. Let the sounds of footsteps and voices fade away. Let the people depart as darkness falls and silence comes. That special tense quiet of museum halls, the eloquent silence of masterpieces. Each era has its own tone, its own favourite motifs, genres and rhythms, a distinctive language, a special sense of space. Art reflects that in colour, line, shapes, patterns, lighting. All those nuances come together in what is known as the style of the age. As we pass through the halls of the museum, it's as if we are turning over the pages of history. Ancient Russia, icon painting, works of the period before the devastating 13th century Mongol invasion. Deriving from Byzantine prototypes, they were created by brilliant, but alas, anonymous artists.